This is like my favourite type of episode, where everyone starts throwing out location names and you have army movements taking place and all of a sudden you have absolutely no idea where the hell anyone actually is. Let's start off with Aemond and Vhagar. Aemond himself is holed up in Harrenhal, which is completely understandable to me that nobody found him because 1, it's a maze, and 2, it's huge. Vhagar, on the other hand, has gone around the Riverlands hunting for food and burning shit. Everyone seems to know that Vhagar burned down villages near Wendish Town, which is all the way up here. That makes it completely laughable that Aegon wants to walk there. I am glad Larys Strong gave him a solid life talk right there. But then in the small council meeting, Rhaenyra mentions that maybe the Wendish town is being targeted due to Lord Darry being an ally and to provoke them. But if that was the case, Aemond could have just skipped up the road to Darry. But it's also kinda nuts that Darry have dominion over Wendish town that far up the Trident, where it's closer to the Blackwoods. Now, we know as far back as episode 2, the Winter Wolves and Oscar Tully were supposed to march down to King's Landing, but then in episode 4, Orwell suggests that the army instead changes course to Tumbleton. Now, it's only partway through episode 4 that Cole arrives at Harrenhal and wants to begin his hit and run war with the Tully Wolf army, so he needs to have his running shoes on because that army would be marching away from him, not towards him. It's funny because the finale of season 2 had all the army movements to set things up, and we see the Winter Wolves crossing the Green Fork at the Twins, and then show up near the Red Fork or Rushing Falls one episode later. So really, Oscar and the boys should have been at Tumbleton like, now? I know TV can condense or expand time as needed, it's just really funny when they need to hit the speed button or the slow-mo button. Of course, you could argue that Criston Cole and his gallant 200-man sized army can move faster due to being far smaller than the opposition, until... Let's pause a moment. I imagine Tully and Roddy are following this river down to head to King's Landing, and from there we can sum up that maybe Cole is hammering them constantly or getting ahead to hit the bridges or crossings. But then during the opening of episode 5, they want to make for Stony Sept, which is all the way over here. So I kinda can't guess where the hell they're supposed to be. Especially when Rhaela and Adam were searching for Vhagar near the Trident but end up at the same farm that Cole and his troop come across later on. It's all a little nuts, yet somehow Roddy and his wolves get ahead of Cole and place caltrops, or in this show, crow's feet, to hamper the movement of horses. This is actually a pretty legit tactic and one Edmure employs against Tywin at the Battle of the Fords. Buck, Roddy the Ruin and his Northmen were all mounted, so that's actually not outside the realms of possibility that they could get ahead of Cole's army. The main issue is that with the Buck changes of Cole being the hunter and the Tully Stark army being the prey, it flips the process of things. It was the Stark Tully army that harassed Cole and the Bucks, not the other way around. Okay, so Criston starts off the episode ambushing the Tully army with 20 good men and sets fire to the camp, and then knows to head to Stony Shore, but because he's in the heart of the camp, I'm actually amazed he didn't try and burn, the leaders of the Stark and Tully army together. What may have been more effective was if he waited for Vance and his men to separate from the bulk of the army and head to Stony Sept and ambushed them there. Adds a little bit more realism to it than to expect that Tully and Starks wouldn't have adequate defences on the perimeter when they've been constantly hounded by Cole. Now, if we were expected to believe that the Stony Sept is the last crossing available for Team Chump to make it to Tumbleton, and they decide to burn the bridge behind them to stop Cole,
looks to me like you're on the wrong side of the river!
then they've also stopped any way of getting back across, which means they've left the Riverlands undefended? Cut off their own supply lines? Someone make it make sense for me. Look, it's all a bit of fun. This isn't unique to House of the Dragon. Game of Thrones was rife with these issues during its prime with Robb's War. I just think with a few more tweaks they could have really done a better job of it all. By having some pieces moving earlier, it would line up. However, and most importantly, I have enjoyed seeing Fire and Criston, this relentless man marching forward, not for the glory of the black or the green, but for his own, to go down swinging and take as many men with him as humanly possible. He's not joking when he says he's the best warrior in Westeros. In the books, he arguably is. he has clean wins over Daemon and broke some bones at a tournament. I look forward to seeing how they finish out the storyline, and if that's next week over the season finale, then so be it. What do you guys think of Criston's War so far?